So last year I attended AR in Action and I was sitting where you are and I thought to myself, I'd really like to speak at this conference. And here we are. Full frame. Voila. The inside of my mind. Welcome to my talk on augmented reality video walls. I've been kind of obsessed with video walls since they were invented in the early 90s. And I've done everything you could do with a video wall in both the commercial and creative spheres, except create an augmented reality video wall. And so that's what I'm here to talk about today, because I think there is a huge potential for interfacing augmented reality technology with the kinds of very high-end, very sophisticated, complex video wall systems that I work with and that I'm about to show you examples of. I have a company in Los Angeles called Holo9, and we do both consulting and production services for complex digital display networks. We're developing an experiential entertainment center called the Virtualarium. And this is going to be a place where we present new forms of entertainment experience. And we've developed what we call our video wall engine called WallSight. And that is an enabling technology based on my decades of experience designing and producing video walls. So the WallSight video wall engine is a language, it's a command structure. It enables distributed processing of the images over video wall systems so that you can literally scale to any size and any pixel count and still manage it easily and quickly. The WallSight system controls mapping and scaling, which are the two primary tools necessary for an effective video wall system. And it's designed specifically to be able to integrate third-party technologies, and that includes, of course, augmented reality, as well as all of the other key emerging technologies like artificial intelligence and machine learning. And we also can support unlimited resolutions and absolutely non-standard aspect ratios and mixed display systems, creating environments. And the goal for us ultimately is to, for whatever reason, transform video walls into storytelling devices. These systems are effective, efficient, experiential, and compelling. And it's the type of technology that has kind of flown under the radar for a lot of different developers because they don't know these kinds of systems exist, much less how to develop for them. So with the creation of WallSight, I'm delivering a platform that you can pretty much plug anything into and it will control the video wall system based on the technology that's driving it. Here's some of the primary applications for these systems, entertainment venues, retail environments. We're going to kind of talk through an example of an airport environment and how we could use augmented reality on a video wall system. But first I want to give you some examples of what we do with this technology. Some of you may be familiar with the show Love, the Beatles show Love at the Mirage Casino in Las Vegas. And I was the director of video for that production when it opened 10 years ago. We installed 24 projectors and 20 media servers. And you can see in the corner there some of the schematics involved. I did the system design and then was responsible for working with the director and the creative team and creating the programming which ran for the show. There's one of the two 100-foot screens. Each 100-foot screen was driven with 10 projectors that were doubled up into 5 different projection areas. And this is an example of what I'd call a physical virtual reality. Just by sheer horsepower, we've stretched a huge silk over half the audience and project on top of it as well as on these 2 screens that were on either side of the theater. And there's gives you a sense of the kind of hardware required to drive systems like this. So when I'm talking about video walls, I'm not just talking about the 4x4 kind of screens that we have out here, but these large-scale, very powerful systems. This is one that I designed and installed for the Walt Disney Company at their Grand Street campus. It's for the Digital Interactive Media Group. And it uses 8K by 2K resolution, but allows us to put our 1080p movie clips into that programmable media space and animate them. And that's one of the advantages of these high-end video wall systems is you have an unlimited pixel count. You can create a great density of information, but you can still incorporate standard information, standard aspect ratios, and standard resolutions. This is a montage of images from a system that I designed at the Tom Bradley Terminal at LAX in the arrivals area. It included 60 media servers and over 96 screens scattered around the terminal. And this was all commissioned by the Department of Cultural Affairs for Los Angeles. And we worked with 17 different artists to create over 4.5 hours of video art programming. I believe this is probably the most complex video system that artists have ever been given access to. And it was a 4-year project. The artwork was incredible. And after 3 years, the airport took it down, and now it's advertising. Let's take a look at how we might be able to use augmented reality in a new environment at the airport. This is the departure area of the Tom Bradley Terminal. And you can see there's a tower there, and there's some screens over on the side there, and more screens up there, and more screens there. This is part of a $50 million video system that was installed 5 years ago during the construction of the terminal. And the reason that they spent so much money on that system was not just to create a beautiful ambiance and a beautiful, very calm environment for the travelers, which it does, but also because it generates a lot of money. And these are some of the brands that have advertised on this system in the last 4 or 5 years. So it's a model of creating sponsored video sculptures, basically, and then including artwork along with the commercial branding. So this is an example of one of the creative projects I did. That's the Statue of Liberty, and we shot it from exactly the right angle so that when you're standing in the airport looking up at it, it feels very realistic. And that's mapped around an 80-foot high tower that's 4 sides of video. So of course on the back we had the back of the statue, and it was part of a commemoration on D-Day for the 75th anniversary of D-Day, where a group of French people dropped 1 million rose petals on the statue. So we recorded it in slow motion, 4K from helicopters and boats, and then created this reenactment of it. So that's just to say that along with the commercial content, there is creative content and meaningful creative content. This particular system requires 8 computers running in sync, each delivering 1080p MPEG-2 file. So the creation of this content is a complex process, but it also has the ability to provide complex forms of interaction. So this is where I'm imagining the idea of an AR video wall can come into play. So in this first instance, the video wall displays an initial target on the screens. The AR user can scan the target with their phone or other interface and establish a control channel through our wall site software. The wall site software will continue to control the video wall system while interacting with the user. And the user can access personalized account on the content on the video wall, and then that content includes more menuing options, and you create a kind of nice feedback loop. In the second instance that I'm imagining, there's an avatar, and the user cues the avatar who appears in the space between the user and the video wall. And this, I think, is the most exciting part of this whole concept, is that now you can program the video wall to deliver different forms of content, and then have an avatar, or literally any other type of content, that's in the space between the user and the video wall. And the avatar is kind of operating the video wall as a kind of travel guide or a host for the user. And these are some of the important applications that could be incorporated into this type of system. Wayfinding and access to various amenities at the airport, emergency information, and then of course creative augmented reality content, which is important because one of the goals of this whole system at the airport is to create a calm environment for the passengers to prepare themselves for their flights. So what is this magnificent interface that is doing all this interaction? Well, I don't know. I'm hoping we'll find out. I'm hoping that by this time next year I could come back to this this location and present a working example of this concept. And I'm very interested in hearing from anyone who's interested in exploring that further. Dennis Solomon, who finally arrived, is the creator of AR4E. And this is a great possible solution for the airport. The unit itself can be branded and printed and constructed and given away for free to the passengers. The passengers can use it in the terminal and then also bring it on the plane with them and flip down a little visor and watch Netflix on the plane, all the while having something that is being connected to the brand that's also sponsoring the other content in the airport. So I hope that's a quick overview of my very basic idea that video wall systems are highly programmable. So are augmented reality systems. There are special cases where you can put the two together and get some very high impact, unique forms of digital experience. Thank you.
Thank you, John.